Hello, my name is Michaela Chandler. I am a 200-hour yoga instructor certified with Yoga Alliance. I am a singer and I am a witch. I thought I would do a video today on my experience over the last 8 years with the chakras. When I first started exploring the chakras, I found a book called Chakras and Their Archetypes, and it was based on the Western theory of the chakras, which Carl Jung. And I read the book and I loved it. I fell in love with the idea of the chakras. But I have to admit, I fell in love with it from the standpoint of, I'm gonna be perfect. This is a way for me to be perfect. And I did the initial work. I wasn't perfect, never gonna be perfect. But for a while I was happy. I had done the work and I got rid of a lot of things that I was holding on to. It didn't take long, though, for life to come back around and challenge me. Challenge me to go deeper, although I was 18 at the time and didn't really have the maturity or the understanding to know that that was what was happening. So instead of being conscious about what was happening and moving into it and exploring it, I bypassed. I did the whole spiritual bypassing thing. And I tried desperately to use the techniques and the tools to be perfect. To never say anything wrong, to never do anything wrong, to never feel guilt, to never feel shame, all of those things. To never feel victimized, all of those things. And I kind of, I would go back and forth and back and forth. It was kind of an on-again, off-again relationship with the chakras. And a couple of years ago, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, oh wow, you kept doing that for quite a long time. You kept ping-ponging, and then only a couple of years ago you realized this. I realized that I was miserable. I realized that all of the work I was doing, all of the affirmations and the meditations and the visualizations and all these things that I was doing were only covering up and glazing over the problem. And the problem was I was very, very unhappy. I was very unhappy. I was very angry. I was very sad. And I was trying to just pick up and move on from some things that I needed to integrate. I realized at a certain point that I was working so hard and it wasn't getting me anywhere, so I stopped. I put away the affirmations, I put away the meditations, I put away the visualizations, and for a good year and a half, I didn't do anything. I felt miserable. I did. But I think I had to let go of the idea of self-improvement because I was using it as a way to abuse myself. I was using it as a way to not do the work that needed to be done. And I realized that I was using it all as a way to control myself, a way to be beyond reproach. And the more I gave myself space from being perfect, the more I began to realize that the chakras are a constant journey. They are an outline, a guide for self-exploration and self-study, as is yoga, which they go hand in hand, which is fun. So I realized that every experience we have is going to challenge us or strengthen us in some way or other. sometimes both. But it takes being conscious. It takes a moment of breathing and a moment of realizing, okay, yes, I'm feeling angry right now. Why am I feeling angry? It's a way to explore yourself and get to know yourself. I also realized, and this was actually very recently, that self-study does not have to be painful. It does not have to be a come to Jesus meeting every time. It can just be sitting down with yourself every day in some form or other, whether it's a meditation or whether it's tarot or whatever it is, whether it's going out in nature and going for a walk, prayer, whatever it is. Self-study can cause and can create such a sense of expansion and peace and love. I did not know this when I was 18. I wish I had, because I was using self-study as a way to constantly be moving forward, a way to constantly push myself to new heights. I've always been a very ambitious person. But I also always thwart myself when I get ambitious too. That's a whole other story. But recently I have come to the realization that self-study can be the most peaceful part of your day. It can be the most loving part of your day if you allow it to be. So being curious when you come across points where you feel intense emotion, anger or sadness or frustration, whatever it is, fear. Just being curious about it, because you are in a relationship with yourself. And sometimes you have to make the choice. And this is another thing that I learned over these last few years. You have to make the choice to engage with yourself in those dark moments. And breathe into it and just be there. Even if at the moment you can't breathe. Even if you're crying so hard you can't breathe. Just be there. And that, in my experience, has been some of the most liberating moments. So just be curious about yourself and be curious about your magic and where you are in your journey. So some of the practices that I used during this time, like I said, meditation, visualization, mantras, and affirmations. I would say that some of the most beneficial exercises are the ones you do with intention and with patience with yourself. Those are the most powerful exercises that you're going to do. So yes, my journey is not yet over with the chakras, and I still have a lot to learn about life, about being alive, about grace and forgiveness and love and passion and inspiration. And I am grateful for all of the books that I have read and everything that I have learned. So I hope that this video helps you in some way. If you have any personal stories about your work with the chakras or your work with yoga or ways that you have found to sit with yourself and be with yourself, then please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to respond to them. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.